Hi everybody, it's Andy and welcome again to my office in Modesto, California. I'm an attorney licensed to practice law in California as well as New York. This video is going to be the second in my series on local forms for use in California State Court. So if you haven't seen the first part of this series, I'm going to go ahead and link it right over here. So go ahead and take a look at that if that is something you're interested in. But in that video, this one over here, I basically go over what a local form is, why you need it, how to go about getting it, and so on. I guess after seeing that video, I can imagine that some of you are probably going like, well, local forms are kind of lousy, aren't they? I mean, like, if I file a case, I got to worry about the state forms and the local ones. I mean, that's kind of a lot. It's like an extra level of complexity, right? So it can possibly be used that way. I mean, after having kind of used local forms, quite a bit, like if you've, used them quite often, you start to realize like, yeah, they add a little bit of complexity, but they're actually not that bad. So the thing is, it's not something that, I guess it's something that's worse when you imagine it. In reality, it's not so bad. So in this video, however, I'm going to go over the benefits of local forms, and there is actually one tremendous benefit that, in my view at least, justifies the extra kind of burden of having to worry about local forms. So unfortunately, I guess, like in my first video, I have to give you this disclaimer that I'm going to talk about California specifically because that's where my experience is, that's where my knowledge is. If you are in another state, for example, not California, what I'm about to describe possibly could apply as well. I don't know where you're watching me from, so it's something that I can't, tell you, yes, for you, you do this, this, and this, but for you, Mr. Other Viewer, do this, this, and this, etc. You're going to need to do your own research, but hopefully with all the information that I give you here, that research will be easier, faster, cheaper, etc. than it otherwise would have been. So anyway, that said, let's go into the benefit of having local forms. So a local form, as I guess I may have unintentionally kind of described it this way, there's one type of local form where the court gives you a blank sheet, like a sheet where you're supposed to write stuff on it and then you turn it back in. That is one kind of local form. Another kind of local form is technically not a form. I guess it's more like a pamphlet or a brochure or an instructional guide or something. Like basically something the court gives you to handle a particular situation. In Stanislaus County, the court here actually has quite a few of those types of brochures and pamphlets. They call them packets. Not sure if that's the technical term, but that's the term that I always think of them as. They're called packets, so local packets. And a local packet actually is, a lot of them are designed to handle kind of routine situations that are a little bit complicated, but not so complicated that the average person, would be really, really confused by it. My guess is that, depending on, again, geography, demographics, etc., each court probably encounters a lot of a particular kind of case, and rather than answer the same questions over and over again, they just, basically said, hey, we'll put out a packet, we'll give this packet out, and the people can hopefully go ahead and use it and help themselves. So I'll give you kind of an example where a packet would be helpful. So let's say that you live in county number 1 and you have a particular situation you're trying to take care of. Let's say you're trying to do X, just define X right there. In your county, let's say that X, it's not, unheard of, but it is relatively rare. So it's rare enough that the courthouse in your particular county does not have a packet of instructions about how to, do X. So because of that, though, you can't afford a lawyer and you have no one to help you, so you're basically left to your own devices. You have no idea what to do. However, let's say that maybe 2 counties over, or maybe 1 county over, X, the thing that you're trying to take care of, a lot of people need to take care of it also. But let's say for whatever reason, in that other county, X is actually very, very common. And because of that, the court doesn't want to spend time answering the same questions over and over again. So they actually took the time, the energy, the effort to put out a packet. And that would be a local packet specific to that other county, not the one that you live in. The benefit, though, is that these local packets that are put out, of the ones that I've seen quite a few, actually. Of the ones that I've seen, the information in there, like the statutes that are cited, the cases that are cited, the rules of court that are cited, etc., all of those are not going to be specific to a county. So the thing is, even though you live in county number 1, over here, and the local form that you need is over here, the local packet you need is over here, that's fine. The local packet over here, you can use it as well. And with the beauty of the internet, you can basically go online to the court website for this county over here and download that local packet, even though your county over here doesn't actually have it. So hopefully that made sense. I'm trying to make that as generic as I can. I can give you some examples of X. So changing your name, strangely enough, is actually a very common one. I would have never thought of it, but changing your name just in general. So for example, let's say your name is very hard to spell or very hard to pronounce. You just want to change it to something easier. That is a packet. I've seen packets for that. If you are a woman and you had your name changed as part of a marriage, and now that you got, let's imagine that you got divorced, say a year or two ago, but as part of that divorce, you did not bother getting your name changed. Now you do. So now after divorce, you want to change your name back to your maiden name. A lot of times that's actually something that confuses a lot of people. It's actually not hard. And as a result of that, there are packets for that I've seen also. Another kind of common example is if you are a tenant who has been evicted from your apartment or your house or whatever it is, and you need more time to move. Under the Code of Civil Procedure, I think it's Section 918 in California, you have the right to ask for a 40-day stay of eviction to get 40 extra days. The court does not have to give it to you. Your landlord may not want it, but you have the option of asking for that. I guess to generalize a little bit, if you go to certain counties where evictions like that are more common, you can probably guess that there are packets for that in those counties, but in other counties where evictions are less common relatively, there may not be a packet for that. So if you are a tenant who's been evicted and you need more time, you happen to live in one of these counties over here, it may be worthwhile to kind of think a little bit to find out what other counties may have packets that could help you. So hopefully that made sense. Not a lot of people actually will think like this to basically go across county borders or county lines, I guess, to look out for local forms. It can be tremendously helpful. The bad side of this though is that there is no kind of uniform, centralized kind of database. So unfortunately, you are going to have to. If you are in this situation, you need to kind of cross county lines to go get local forms. You may just need. It may be a hit or miss kind of thing. And you basically may have to go through 5 or 10 or hopefully not 25 county court websites to find the local form that you need. So hopefully all of that made sense. This benefit to me, if I guess according to my opinion, this benefit is actually tremendous. There's a lot of untapped kind of resources in local packets, local forms that I think a lot of people probably don't know about and they don't use. The bad news, of course, is that there's no easy way to search for it. But if you're willing to put in the elbow grease, the legwork, there's a tremendous amount of potential there for, I think, help for the average person. So, anyway, hopefully that made sense. Go ahead and leave me a comment if you want. This topic, I think, is valuable. Not a lot of people have discussed. Not a lot of lawyers have discussed it. So, anyway, hope that was helpful, and I will talk to you guys next time. Good luck.